The day often begins before we are ready. For many people, the first problem of the day is simply opening their eyes. The alarm clock rings, cutting through the silence of the room. It is a sound that most people dislike. It signals the end of rest and the beginning of responsibility. You might reach out your hand to turn it off, wishing for just 5 more minutes of sleep. The bed feels warm and comfortable, while the air outside the blanket feels cold and uninviting. This is the first battle of the day. It is a battle between the desire to rest and the necessity to move. When you finally stand up, your body might feel heavy. This physical heaviness is a common feeling. It is not always because you did not sleep enough. Sometimes you sleep for 8 hours, yet you still wake up feeling exhausted. This is a strange contradiction. You have rested, but you do not feel restored. Your muscles might ache slightly or your head might feel cloudy. This is often called morning brain fog. It takes time for the mind to become clear. You move slowly through your morning routine. Brushing your teeth, washing your face, and making coffee happen almost automatically. You do not need to think about these actions because you have done them thousands of times. However, as your mind starts to wake up, the thoughts begin to arrive. This is where the mental weight begins. Before you even leave your house, you start thinking about the day ahead. You think about the tasks you must finish. You remember the problems you did not solve yesterday. You worry about the traffic, the weather, or a difficult meeting. This mental list creates a feeling of pressure. It sits on your chest like a heavy weight. You are not just carrying your bag or your keys, you are carrying the expectation of the day. Sometimes the morning rush adds to this stress. You might realize you are running late. The calm morning suddenly becomes a race. You look for your socks, but you cannot find a matching pair. You spill a little bit of coffee on your shirt. You realize you forgot to charge your phone during the night. These are small problems. In the grand scheme of life, a spilled drink or a low battery is not a tragedy. But in the morning, when you are already tired and anxious, these small things feel huge. They feel like signs that the day is going to be difficult. Leaving the house can feel like stepping into a chaotic river. Whether you drive a car, take a bus, or walk, you immediately encounter obstacles. The traffic is slow, the train is crowded, the streets are noisy. Everyone else is also rushing. Everyone else is also carrying their own invisible burdens. You look at the faces of strangers, and you see the same tiredness that you feel. It is a shared experience, but it can also feel very lonely. You are surrounded by people, but you are alone with your thoughts. This morning pressure sets the tone for the rest of the day. If the morning feels chaotic, it is hard to find peace later. You arrive at your destination, your office, your school, or your workplace, already feeling like you have run a marathon. You have not even started your real work yet, but your energy bar is already lower than it should be. This is the reality for millions of people. We start our days in a deficit, trying to catch up before the day has even truly begun. Once the day officially starts, a new problem emerges. This problem is time, or rather the lack of time. In modern life, time feels like water slipping through our fingers. No matter how tightly we try to hold on to it, it disappears. You arrive at your desk or your workspace, and you look at your list of tasks. The list always seems longer than the hours you have available. The environment of work or study is often filled with distractions. We live in an age of constant connection. While this has many benefits, it also creates a unique type of stress. Your computer screen demands your attention. Emails arrive one after another, piling up like snow during a storm. Your phone vibrates in your pocket with notifications. Each vibration is a demand. Someone needs an answer. Someone needs a document. Someone wants to know where you are. It is difficult to focus on one thing deeply when there are so many small interruptions. You try to finish a report, but then a colleague asks a question. You try to study a chapter, but then you remember an urgent message you need to send. This constant switching of attention is exhausting for the brain. It is like trying to drive a car while constantly stepping on the brakes. You never build up speed. You never get into a smooth rhythm. By the midday break, you might feel like you have been working hard, but when you look at your progress, it seems very small. This creates a feeling of frustration. You ask yourself, what did I actually do this morning? Deadlines add another layer of pressure. A deadline is a fixed point in time that approaches whether you are ready or not. As the deadline gets closer, the stress increases. Your heart might beat a little faster. You might forget to take breaks. You might skip lunch or eat it too quickly while looking at a screen. The fear of not finishing on time is a powerful motivator, but it is not a healthy one. It runs on adrenaline and anxiety. Then there are the technical problems. We rely on technology for almost everything. When it works, it is wonderful, but when it fails, it causes a specific type of rage. The internet connection becomes slow right when you need to send a large file. The printer stops working. The software crashes and you lose 10 minutes of work. These are mechanical failures, but they feel personal. It feels like the universe is working against you. You stare at the spinning loading icon on the screen, feeling helpless. You cannot fix it, you can only wait. And while you wait, you lose more precious time. The feeling of being behind is chronic. Even when you finish a task, there is no real sense of completion. There is always another task waiting behind it. It is like climbing a mountain only to reach the top and see a higher mountain behind it. This creates a sense of endlessness. You begin to feel that you will never truly be done. You are just managing the flow, trying to keep your head above water. By the afternoon, the energy from your morning coffee has faded. The mental fatigue sets in. It becomes harder to make decisions. Simple questions feel complex. You find yourself staring out the window or reading the same sentence 3 times without understanding it. This is the brain saying it needs rest. But the clock says there are still hours left in the workday. So you push through. You force yourself to focus using willpower instead of energy. This pushes you further into exhaustion, borrowing energy from tomorrow to survive today. While time and work are visible stressors, there is a quieter, heavier problem that follows many people. This is the worry about money. Financial pressure is often silent because people do not like to talk about it. It is considered private, sometimes even shameful. But it is a constant background noise in the mind. It often happens during ordinary moments. You are at the grocery store, pushing your cart through the aisles. You pick up an item you enjoy, perhaps a specific brand of coffee or a nice type of cheese. Then you look at the price tag. You hesitate. You do a quick calculation in your head. You wonder if you really need it or if you should buy the cheaper version. You might put the item back on the shelf. This small action, denying yourself something small, creates a feeling of limitation. It reminds you that your resources are not endless. The end of the month brings a specific kind of anxiety. This is when the bills arrive. Rent, electricity, water, internet, insurance. The list of necessary payments is long. You sit down with your bank account open on your screen. You watch the numbers go down as you pay each bill. There is a sense of relief that the bills are paid, but it is mixed with worry about how much is left. Will it be enough to last until the next payday? What if an emergency happens? What if the car breaks down or a tooth starts to hurt? This uncertainty creates a low-level fear. It makes it hard to relax completely. Even when you are having fun with friends, a small part of your brain is calculating the cost. You might decline an invitation to dinner not because you are busy, but because you are trying to save money. You might make an excuse, saying you are tired, because admitting you are on a budget feels embarrassing. Connected to money is the pressure of social expectations. We live in a world that values success, and success is often shown through material things. We see images of other people's lives constantly. On social media, everyone seems to be doing well. They are traveling to beautiful places, they are eating at expensive restaurants, they are wearing new clothes and driving nice cars. Intellectually, we know that social media is a curated collection of highlights. We know that people do not post photos of their bills or their stress. However, emotionally, it is hard not to compare. You look at your own life and it might seem dull or ordinary in comparison. You might feel like you are falling behind. You wonder why everyone else seems to have everything figured out, while you are struggling to keep things balanced. This comparison is a thief of joy. It makes you undervalue what you have because you are focused on what you do not have. There is also the expectation from family and society. As you get older, there are unwritten rules about where you should be in life. You are expected to have a stable career. You are expected to save for a house. You are expected to support your family. These expectations can feel like a heavy backpack that you cannot take off. You want to make your family proud. You want to be seen as a responsible, successful adult. But the path to that success is often steeper and rockier than people admit. Sometimes you might feel trapped in a cycle. You work hard to earn money. You use that money to pay for the life that allows you to work. It feels like a loop. You wonder if there is more to life than just paying bills. You dream of freedom, of having enough savings to not worry, but that goal often feels very far away. This financial and social pressure does not cause a sharp pain. Instead, it causes a dull ache. It is a persistent weight that sits on your shoulders, influencing your choices, your mood, and your view of the future. After the stress of the morning, the rush of the workday, and the silent worry about the future, we encounter another problem. This one is internal. It is emotional fatigue. This is different from being physically tired. Physical tiredness can be cured by sleep. Emotional fatigue is a deep weariness of the spirit. It is the feeling of being drained. This often manifests as a lack of motivation. You know there are things you should do. You should exercise. You should cook a healthy meal. You should pursue a hobby or learn a new skill. You have these goals in your mind, but when you finally have free time, you find that you cannot make yourself move. The distance between the sofa and the gym feels like 100 miles. The effort required to chop vegetables feels impossible. So you choose the path of least resistance. You order food instead of cooking. You watch television shows you have already seen because they are familiar and easy. You scroll through your phone endlessly. Your thumb moves up the screen, consuming images and videos that you do not really care about. You are looking for a distraction, something to numb the brain. You are not truly relaxing, you're just zoning out. Then a feeling of guilt arrives. You look at the clock and realize 2 hours have passed and you have done nothing productive. You criticize yourself. You think, I am being lazy. I am wasting my time. This negative self-talk makes the fatigue worse. It creates a cycle of unproductivity and shame. You are too tired to do things, and then you feel bad about not doing things, which makes you more tired. This state is often accompanied by a feeling of boredom, but it is not the simple boredom of having nothing to do. It is a restless boredom. You want to do something, but nothing sounds appealing. You pick up a book, read a page, and put it down. You start a movie, watch 10 minutes, and turn it off. Nothing holds your interest. It feels like the colors of the world have become a little less bright. The things that usually bring you joy, listening to music, talking to a friend, playing a game, feel flat. We also deal with small failures and disappointments throughout the day. These are not life-changing disasters, but they chip away at our resilience. Maybe you made a mistake at work and your boss corrected you. Maybe you had a misunderstanding with a friend. Maybe you tried to fix something in your house and broke it further. Each of these small events takes a little bit of your emotional energy. By the end of the day, your emotional tank is empty. During these times, patience becomes very thin. You might find yourself getting angry at very small things. You drop a spoon on the floor and you feel a sudden surge of rage. You are not angry about the spoon, you are angry about the accumulation of everything else. The spoon is just the final trigger. You might snap at your partner or your family members, saying things you do not mean. Later, you feel regret. You know it was not their fault. You were just looking for a release for your internal pressure. This emotional fatigue can also make you feel isolated. When you are drained, you withdraw. You might ignore phone calls or text messages. You feel like you do not have the energy to explain how you feel. It is easier to be alone than to put on a happy mask for others. You retreat into your shell, hoping that if you stay quiet for long enough, the energy will return. Despite all these challenges, the heavy mornings, the busy days, the financial worries, and the emotional exhaustion, life continues. And importantly, we learn to cope. The final part of dealing with daily problems is finding the calm within the storm. It is about reflection and acceptance. Usually, this happens late in the day. The world finally goes quiet, the emails stop coming, the traffic noise outside fades away. You are in your home, perhaps sitting in a comfortable chair or lying in bed. This is the time for decompression. It is the time when the mind can finally stop running and start walking. You begin to reflect on the day. You look back at the moments that caused you stress. With the distance of a few hours, they often seem less frightening. The mistake you made at work is not a catastrophe, it's just a lesson. The awkward conversation is just a memory. You realize that you survived the day. You handled the problems. Maybe you did not handle them perfectly, but you got through them. This realization brings a sense of resilience. You are stronger than you think. Acceptance is a powerful tool. You accept that you cannot control everything. You cannot control the traffic, the technology, or the opinions of other people. You can only control your reaction. You realize that it is okay to be tired. It is okay to not be productive every single minute of the day. It is okay to have worries. These feelings are part of being human. Acknowledging this takes the pressure off. You stop fighting against your own feelings and simply let them be. People find different ways to ground themselves. For some, it's a simple ritual. It might be drinking a cup of hot tea and feeling the warmth in their hands. It might be taking a hot shower and imagining the stress washing away with the water. It might be reading a few pages of a book to escape into a different world. These small moments of pleasure are not a waste of time, they are essential maintenance for the soul. They are the anchors that keep us steady. Connection with others is also a remedy. Even if you felt like withdrawing earlier, sharing a quiet moment with someone you trust can be healing. You do not need to complain or vent. Just sitting near someone, watching a show together, or talking about something funny can shift your perspective. It reminds you that you are not the only one facing these struggles. Everyone is navigating the same complicated waters. Gratitude is another practice that helps shift the mindset. It sounds like a cliche, but it works. You try to find 3 small things from the day that were good. Maybe the sun was shining. Maybe you had a delicious lunch. Maybe a stranger smiled at you. Focusing on these small positives balances out the negatives. It does not erase the problems, but it prevents them from consuming your entire view of life. As you prepare for sleep, you let go of the day. You mentally put down the heavy bags you've been carrying. You tell yourself that tomorrow is a fresh start. The problems of today belong to today. Tomorrow will have its own challenges, but it will also have its own opportunities. You close your eyes, and for a few hours, the world demands nothing from you. You are free. The cycle of daily problems is endless, but so is our capacity to adapt. We wake up, we struggle, we worry, we get tired, but then we rest and we try again. There's a quiet beauty in this persistence. It is the definition of living. We manage the chaos one day at a time, looking for the small spaces of peace in between, and usually we find enough peace to keep going.